From KPRC 2, this is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
You are looking at one of what the city of Houston says is a dangerous building and needs to be demolished. The city is now making it a higher priority to go after and get rid of these structures, something that is under the purview of the Department of Neighborhoods. Good morning and welcome to Houston Newsmakers, where I'm joined by the director of the Department of Neighborhoods for the city of Houston, Lakasha Francis. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you here. I want to ask you this. Is this program something that's new or a continuation of an existing program?
Oh, no. This is a continuation of an existing responsibility, actually. The Department of Neighborhoods is responsible for, among other things, code enforcement that deals with quality of life issues. Dangerous buildings represent impediments to public health and safety, because a dangerous building is any building or structure that has a violation that could cause serious injury to a human being. So this is just an extension with the appropriate budget to go forward and do what we are actually commissioned to do.
When you talk about a budget, what are you have numbers, you have goals for how many of these buildings you want to take down, or how many are out there that you need to take down?
Sure, absolutely. So since 2016, there have been over 11,000 records of dangerous buildings in the city of Houston in our record keeping that have either been corrected by demolition, either securing those buildings from vacancies, or either repairs that owners have done. And so now this year we have about in queue nearly a little over 300 administrative orders where demolition is now the corrective action that will need to be taken. We were approved by City Council last year for a new budget over 3 years with new vendors of around $18 million. So now we can go back and we can actually execute the corrective action on those orders and make neighborhoods safer and cleaner.
So what's the notification process like for property owners who may have a building that you deem is, okay, that's dangerous, we got to take that down? What's that process look like?
Sure. So the process is, if we actually come upon a structure, we'll do the initial inspection under Chapter 10 of the city's municipal code. Once we see that there is a dangerous building violation, whether it's going to be, and there are several eligibility criteria, but to just encapsulate it, if there's any issue with the structure that could cause some level of asphyxiation, whether it's hanging soffits, whether it's a roof or a floor of insufficient strength, anything that is under the threat of collapse, whether within the building or to a neighboring property, is considered a dangerous building. Anything that is vacant and open that is actually an attractive nuisance for crime is also considered to be a dangerous building. And that's the other aspect of dangerous buildings. They are havens for crime, whether it is gang activity, drug activity, prostitution, sexual assaults. They provide the appropriate shield that criminals will look for to be able to carry out some of those acts.
So I'm guessing that you want other citizens to help out in this process. So if that being the case, what should Joe or Mary citizen do if they want to alert you to a building that they believe might be dangerous?
They report that to 311. Once we come out and do the inspection, we usually will notify the property owner by the yellow placard in the yard, and we also will send another form of notification through the mail. Typically, depending upon the circumstances, the average time that an owner is given to comply initially is going to be about 21 days. In some instances, if they have not done that, we have the Buildings and Standards Commission, which is a board and commission of the city of Houston that reviews our evidence to look and see if it meets the qualifications of a dangerous building, and they will make what is a legal administrative order to determine whether the building needs to be repaired, secured, or demolished. The owner is given a certain time, up to 90 days, to make whatever the recommendation of the commission is, and after that, the city can then move forward to take the appropriate corrective action.
Is there a typical amount, probably in your business and what you're doing is probably nothing really typical, but how long does a process like this take? Say, from the time somebody is notified to a time that their building is taken down after they've gone through all the processes? Can it take anywhere up to 6 months to a year to get all that done, or more? Or
what? Sometimes it can, because when it comes down to dangerous buildings, it's a complex legal process. We are talking about someone's property, so there are certain parts of due process that we have to observe. So the initial notification, we have to give that notification. Now, there are some instances where there is an emergency present, where there is an immediate harm to human life and safety, where a person could be killed or seriously injured. In some of those instances, under the municipal code, the notice comes after. So if you have a fire-ravaged building, for instance, where there's the danger of collapse or electrocution, something like that or along those lines would be something where the public health and safety imperative would indicate that we have to take that down now.
I know some people may say, Okay, wait a minute. You're taking my property. You haven't given me notice, that sort of thing. I'm guessing that you probably keep pretty good records on when you're sending out notifications to people.
Absolutely.
In the process.
Absolutely. And what happens is the only time we don't have to give prior notice is if there is an emergency situation, as I just mentioned. But previously, that is the whole purpose. You can't have an administrative hearing without giving notice to the owner. And the other thing that people have to realize is we're eliminating the structure on the property. It's not a taking of the property. So the structure is dangerous. We're only leveling the structure to make sure that we remove that danger, but we're not taking someone's property. Now, there is a lien that will go on the property, but that lien doesn't take your property. It is now just an encumbrance on your property. So I want people to understand that when we are taking down those buildings, the city's not taking your property, but we are eliminating the structure that is causing the public health and safety concern.
I noticed that we've had a news conference this weekend, and so now going forward, you're kicking it up into a higher gear, I guess.
Yes,
at least letting people know what's going on.
Well, absolutely. And so if you know that you may have, whether it's inheritance property or some other type of property that has already gone through that process, now would be the time to really start thinking about how you may be able to either make whatever repairs you need to make to the property, if that's available under your administrative order. But for those people who have vacant properties that have been listed as dangerous properties that qualify for demolition, we are demolishing those buildings and restoring the safety in these neighborhoods.
Well, people who are in process who may be in line for something like that, they would have already received some sort of notification. Nobody's going to just drive up a bulldozer and say, your turn.
No, no. There's going to be an administrative order that's already going to be in place.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Director Francis. We thank you for being here, and good luck on this whole process and making the city of Houston a better place.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.